we live in a really world of just people just acting out and not controlling emotions. So what allowed you to be able to get to that point?
I mean, really, it's just growth, like a growth prayer. I mean, having kids, because now you got to think again, those actions that may be taken in that moment could take me away from the people that I care about. So now I have to use that. This is the point when that scale, that meter goes higher, because now I know if I make a decision in that moment, then now I'm doing something that's going to affect the emotions or the feelings of somebody else. So now I'm thinking on a whole nother level.
Welcome world, welcome family to another episode of the EL2A Podcast. I'm your host with the mostest, Mr. Jamie Gilmore Jr. To right of me, we got Mr. Military, Ms. Miles Tonical. How you feeling today, brother?
Pleasant
today. I like it. Just to the right of him, we got the Rocket, the highest 7 hills, Mr. Eddie E. Rock. How you feeling today, brother?
What it do?
All right, he ain't got the pleasant in what it do. We working, all right? Hey, but again, another day, another dollar, another daily deposit, all right? But what I need y'all to know right now, before I get into anything, I'm gonna stop this. I've been thinking about this, and what I really want y'all to do is like, subscribe, and comment. All right, so start what you're doing right now. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. It really means a lot to us. All right, you guys helped us reach 1,000, and that overfills my heart with joy. But there's so much room to go. Also with these episodes, send them to your friends. All right, make sure your friends are aware of what's going on. What's so the use of you getting this information if your friends not getting it? All right, you send it to your friends so they can be able to grow just like you, and be able to create a community of growth. All right, next thing I got for you. Not January, I'm sorry, I'm tripping. April 12th, our casino night. We're picking the location now. By the end of the week, we're going to have a location for that. But that flyer should be popping up. It's probably over my face right now. Our casino night. It's going to be a day full of fun. Mr. Miles, talk about the casino night a little bit. You seem to enjoy that a lot.
Well, I mean, you come out, enjoy yourself, but you ain't gonna be. But no, for real, come out, enjoy a good night. It's just a fun night. Let your hair down for a good cause, for sure.
For sure, and just to be transparent with it, a lot of people, when they hear casino, they think about winning money. You can't win money. That's against the law, but you do win money, but it goes back to a great cause, like you said. So it's a great time. But come out for live music, drinks, food, and just a great time, again, for a great cause, all right? Other than that, man, what's on y'all, man? Y'all good? You know, I know we always get right into it. Y'all good? Everybody good, man? Y'all, how you feeling today? Let me see, 1 to 10, how you feeling, bro?
I say pleasant, so I say about a 8.5.
8.5, okay. How about yourself, Rocky? How you feeling?
I'm with the
10? What 10? I'm like,
man, I got to see the boys today, man. Okay. They doing pretty good, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything bad, so yeah. So
I'm a 10 today as well. Y'all didn't ask, but I'm a 10. All right, but I'm gonna tell you guys. So our topic for today, so we can get into it. Eddie knows this, and this is a little, this is our podcast world. So we like to be transparent with y'all. We like to share, you know what I mean, be organic and be real. I won't get into depth to what happened, but last night some things transpired to me in his life. A very unfortunate situation happened with somebody near and dear to us. That we got a call, I guess, late at night, knowing that somebody's house was shot up. That's in our family, and it was very disturbing to us. But as I was laying in bed, there's so many emotions that type of thing invokes, especially when it's somebody close to you. First thought comes to mind, man, you out here trying to save your community. Help your community. I shouldn't say save, but help your community and do these different things. And something like this happens at your front door, basically somebody that, you know what I mean, that you will lay your own life down for. And it's one of those tricky situations, because it's like, dang, like, what do? You know what I mean? Your first reaction is like, man, let's go over there, let's go, it's just a human reaction. But then you have to jump back into reality and understand, bro, through that process of accumulating thoughts of all these different things, I went from, man, I wish I would find out who did this, to who caused this, because ain't nobody just do that for no reason. Why did this happen? To, dang, I wonder what the person who did it going through. Like, I went through every phase of it. Like, I really sat through, and I know it's the work that we do that allows me to be able to have that level of understanding or empathy that I'm thinking about the person that just did this. Like I'm actually like little thinking about like, dang, bro, like what happened to what somebody did to that person, or why did this person even think like something like this okay? And after processing all those thoughts, it came into my head this morning when I woke up. I thought about the word emotional intelligence. As young men, especially young black men, we really wasn't given the space to be emotional intelligent. As young people, you hear these words, IQ, which is the your intelligence quotient. Then you got the EQ, which is emotional. Then you got AQ, which is the adversity. There's the EQ and the AQ I didn't hear about. I don't know if you guys are aware of those when you're a child. All we heard about IQ, how smart you are, or intelligence, all these different things that are matter. Then you understand like the emotional side of it. That's what really matters. You know what I mean? How you able to really, the perspective that you're able to get, how I'm able to feel about myself, how I'm able to feel about you. And that's the crazy thing, how it goes. And I always got to write it down so you guys know. When it comes to EQ, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, manage, and express one's emotions, as well as recognize and respond appropriately to the emotions of others. That's loaded. I want y'all to hear what I said. So the ability to understand, manage, and express one's emotions, that's something that is self, as well as recognize and respond appropriately to the emotions of others. So in this situation, you telling me emotional intelligence, if you do something to me or you say something to me, I have to appropriately manage why you said that and how I'm going to say back to what I need to say to you so you can take it in the right way and not the wrong way. That's a lot. That's a lot. So my question to you as we start this podcast, if you talk about emotional intelligence, from a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think y'all more? We can start you and go to Eddie next. What do you think you rate on the scale of emotional intelligence from 1 to 10, and why is that?
I would say to be honest, in like an overall score. And the reason why I say, like I'm gonna explain what I mean. I would give myself probably I'd say about 8.59 when it comes to emotional intelligence. Now, I say how I apply it, I deem myself a little bit there because we all have those times where you understand how you should approach something. You understand the inner workings of that conversation that may pop up or that you get ready to walk into. But sometimes because of other factors, or it can even just be sheer willfulness or laziness, you just don't act on how you know you should have delivered that message or spoke. So this is me being, I guess, aware of my emotional intelligence, that there's times in which I know I could do a better job than what I understand how to actually apply it. So I would say sometimes, so I give myself a rank. I say anything from a 7 to about an 8.5 around there.
And I think that's why I struggle, the application part of it. So the understanding, so I understand in a situation, I can see the emotions that you may have. I can see that this conversation is affecting you, or however, even when Materia was up here the other day and she was getting emotional, I can see that she's emotional, but my application to your emotion is the hard part, because it's like in that was just one situation, but like in another situation, somebody's been emotional. I understand, especially if we can see the answer. Like sometimes you can see the answer, but that ain't really what emotionally you trying to get to right now.
Right.
And all I really be seeing is the answer. And I think I struggle with that a lot because I be trying to, well, it's right here, like, emotionally. So I really struggle with that in my relationship, definitely, and a lot of other places as well. But for yourself, how you rate yourself?
Depending on the situation.
Damn, boy, slap your knee, boy.
Nah, so because it's a funny moment. Depending on the situation. So you just gave, what took place last night, like you said. So that's a family member, and in that moment, what I was thinking and how I felt. But emotional intelligence probably was low. That's 5, 6, probably lower than that at that moment, because that's somebody that we truly care about. And I'm not thinking, I don't care who the other person is that did it. All I know that there was harm, potential harm done to our family members. So in that moment, it wasn't high, it was low. But then there, at the same time, depending on the situation, again, it could be 6, 7, because I think about the outcomes of what I may do or what I may say and how that may potentially harm or hurt somebody else with the way that I respond to them. So it all depends on the situation. What I do know is that I think I've been aware. I'm aware of being able to manage those emotions. Sometimes, there are plenty of times where I done called you before where something has been brought to the table and it's like, I know that I'm pissed off, like I'm very upset. And in that moment, me responding in that moment and right at that time, it's not good. Let me sleep on it. So now when I wake up the next day, now I can think about it in a better light. Now that the emotional intelligence kick in and say, okay, had you responded at that very point in time, it wouldn't have went the way that it probably should go. So now, like you say, now I have to think about the other person on the other side. Like, okay, well, why it took place and why would they do that? Mm-hmm. And then sometimes when you sit and think about it in that manner, like, they probably did it because somebody that we truly care about may have done something to them. Mm-hmm. So were they really wrong? You know what I'm saying? So you just have to assess the situation. So like I guess like Miles say, so my skill, sliding skill, you can get me depending on the day. You can get me on 5, you can get me on a 7. Most of the times, I just try to make sure that I'm always on the higher end, because my actions or my responses to certain people or certain things could cause me to end up in a bad predicament. So I got to make sure I'm thinking on the right direction.
Yeah. So there's a term when they say like you're in your feelings. When you tell somebody, that's nobody really like that. I remember I say that you don't like somebody to say you're in your feelings. Feelings cause problems, but emotions don't. So I'm gonna say that to y'all again. Dr. Umar approach. Feelings cause problems, but emotions don't. Feelings cause problems, but emotions don't. So you're thinking when you're in your feelings and you're acting out of your feelings, that means that you're acting sporadically. Like you just like you made me feel this way. When you're acting out of your emotions, that means that you're understanding. You get what I'm saying? That I feel this emotion. I know what this is. I understand what this is, and this is how I'm going to manage it, and this is how I'm going to reply. Do you guys think we do a good job as a society, or do we do a good job as a community as far as making people aware of their emotions or letting people allow them to understand that they have these emotions? Because I started this by saying I can speak for me. I know exactly, because as kids, that's why we say that all the time. You're told to brush it off and not like your emotions were dismissed. And now you're adults and everybody expects you to walk around and to manage your emotions properly once they were dismissed all these lives. Do we do a good job? One, that's the first question. If yes or no, but if we do, if we don't, how can we do a better job of moving forward of helping people manage their emotions or acknowledge their emotions?
Yeah. I mean, so you just said it. As a kid, as a black man, there's a lot of things missed. One of our parents, one of the parents just sent me. I'm not sure she sent it, but she sent me the post. And it was talking about feelings and emotions. How, as a man in the black community, how we are taught to dismiss our emotions. We're taught to dismiss our emotions and our feelings. So basically, we're just taught to be tough and not deal with it. Let's move on. Let's disregard how we feel in that moment. So if I have to disregard how I feel in that moment, then how can I feel any emotions at the same time? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm supposed to just, okay, regardless of how I feel, today not a good day. Today something happened at work, or my significant other said something to me in the wrong manner. I can't come and express how I feel or the emotions that I'm feeling, because now I'm seen less of a man. So do I think that our community or our society is teaching the young men the right way? No, because a lot of times the people that are teaching it, it's the women that's trying to teach a man how to feel in that moment, or how to feel, what emotions they should express in that moment. It's kind of hard to do.
Yeah. Let's see, you get in practical. So thinking about you just made me think about this. So going back to childhood, you were the most emotional or feeling-based person I ever met in my life. Eddie, and just to even give context to it, Eddie was a person that when we were young, snap out of anything. And like anything gonna trigger him off. You get him there, it's either, and it's hard, like in the snap of a dime, snap of a finger. One thing about, he was so bad, he started making me feel like something was wrong with me, because I didn't react to stuff that way. I was more calm. It took a lot to get me mad. And he got so mad. It's my big brother. Like, dang, he get mad about everything. Like, wow, I felt like something was wrong with me because of the influence of him. But to come from a person to now is a level head person, still got a little work to do, but still more of a level head person. What allowed you to be able to get to that? You know what I mean? Because I preface this by saying, because think about the world, bro. Think about what you see on social media. You see somebody get cut off at the thing, they dead. You see somebody say something about somebody on social media, they did. Like, we live in a really world of just people just acting out and not controlling emotions. So what allowed you to be able to get to that point?
I mean, really, it's just growth. Like a growth prayer. I mean, having kids, because now you got to think again, those actions that may be taken in that moment could take me away from the people that I care about. So now I have to use that. This is the point when that scale, that meter goes higher, because now I know if I make a decision in that moment, then now I'm doing something that's going to affect the emotions or the feelings of somebody else. So now I'm thinking on a whole nother level. And that's why I say it depends on the moment. You know, there are times where been in the car, been with our family, that the situation we had in Orlando years ago. We were in Orlando, we were leaving the DoubleTree, and we were saying goodbyes to actually my daughter Nia was getting ready to go back home, and it was just quick moment of where we just hugs and kisses, basically, just say goodbye. In that moment, family drove up, and we were parked in a handicap right in front of the hotel. We were, again, literally, we were just Jamie. He was in another car, just finna say bye. My kids are in the car, and the guy got out of his car. The guy and the lady got out of the car, and I remember it almost, you could see he was going to his hip. Yeah. Now I gotta, my feelings in that moment. How dare you? You feel me? Because I got my family my kids in the car. How dare you? Like we tried to, in that moment, we tried to just like, real quick, our bad, we trying to go. But it escalated to the point where now, again, so I'm not, but I was in my feelings at first, but then the emotion, I had to realize, like, okay, because if I do this, I'm going to do this in front of my kids. And again, the repercussion of doing it. So it's just outweighing, I guess, I don't know, just growth, maturing. And so you say how now I'm surrounding myself with other men that are teaching us or teaching me how to handle my feelings and my emotions. I mean, even working at Cone Distributing, and that's why I give credit to them being great leaders. They had that. They gave that guidance there, because even when they put me in positions to be a department manager, whatever, like to lead the group, they still, there were times that people that I was working over, that they didn't do what they were supposed to do. I can't respond based off my feelings, because I'm leading these guys. So I have to use I gotta watch how my emotions in that point, like how am I going to respond to them? Again, not based on my feelings, but my emotions, understanding why they did what they did and their thought process of it. So again, it was just being surrounded by the right people, reading books, and there's just different things that, self-help really, because I wanted to do better. I wanted better because I actually had family members that didn't use those emotions when they just thought on them feelings in that moment and know what they got them, you feel me? So
yeah. How about you, Vermont? Because as you were saying, I was thinking about you, because you said before that as a young person, you were more I guess quick to spaz out or do certain things when you was a young person. Do you agree with saying sentiment, him just growing up and be able to, what allowed you to be able to tapping into your emotions?
Yeah, so obviously the power of prayer obviously helped out. I had a praying mom, praying family in general, that cared for me, kept me lifted up in prayer during that time period. And I would say probably the main thing that was driving my emotions at that time was, to be quite honest, I was selfish. And because I was selfish, I couldn't understand or perceive why people may have acted the way that they acted. Because I was selfish, and when I say selfish, it's not just about like the getting. I guess the word be more self-centered. Mm-hmm. So I took everything internal. So if someone was being brash or being whatever, I took that on like, well, dang, did I do something to bring them on, whatever? And so that would make me lash out, because then it would seem like I wasn't doing good enough or being nice enough to the person, whatever it may have been. You know, it was superficial. I was a kid, you know, but as I got older, I matured more. I just stopped taking things on that wasn't for me to carry. And that would help me understand that, okay, this person being an a-hole because they may be going through something at home. It has nothing to do with me personally. So when I started maturing and getting older, what I just started to do was take care of what I could take care of in regards to that person. So now, as long as I know I did what I was supposed to do with that person, no matter how they act towards me, whether good, bad, or indifferent, that's between that person, themselves, and whoever made them feel that way before they came around me. I'm not taking that on. That's not my responsibility. I didn't sit there and make you mad. And so now that's when it comes down to me. Now I can sit there and get upset that you projecting something towards me that is undue, or I can see it for what it is and just like, okay, whatever. You know, you'll go to bed tonight and probably realize you were acting up for no reason. And so I just don't carry it anymore. And you have just learned to let that stuff go. And you know, before I joined the military, I was already down that road. The military amplified it, because you're talking about a industry, a profession that's already hyper, stressful. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things to manage. You can't sit there and carry that stuff all day, every day, because unfortunately, we know what goes on with that community, the active duty, and even the veteran community. You have a high, suicide rate and things of that nature. So you have to learn how to let that stuff go. You can't keep it on you. And I would say, that's pretty much what led to my change, and why even now sometimes people will confuse me understanding my emotions in a situation, another person, and they'll take it as, well, this person is just straight face or poker face or cold. It's like, I'm not cold. I just rapidly addressed the situation or my emotions in that time period. I took it through its proper filters, and now I'm like, all right, well, is it a me thing or is it a them thing? And if it's a me thing, well, then just fix it. If it's a them thing, why carry it? So no matter what, I always have a certain level of peace about me, because it's either I have the ability to change it, or it's not even my responsibility in the first place. So just let it go.
Yeah. What do y'all say to that person? Because there's a whole bunch of people watching, and we deal with this every day. Somebody comes through that door, something happened. Why this happened? Because she, I couldn't control it. I just lashed out. I just would have crashed, whatever. All these different things that are these emotions that people are dealing with. What do you say to that person that's out there that truly feel like they can't control it? I have no control over my emotions. What would you say to that person?
I would ask them, first of all, why? Why do they feel that way? And I don't need a formulated answer. I just want to gauge kind of where they're at mentally by what they throw out first. If they say, well, I've heard people say, well, I'm just a loose cannon, blah, blah, blah. Well, unfortunately for that person who find like some type of honor in being like that, you just gonna have to keep living life until somebody humble you. There's no other, because you find some type of pleasure from that. And that's nothing positive. You're not netting anything positive in life by being like that, or finding some level of, honor in being a crash out. Mm-hmm. So I would say, really ask them why. And I will also bluntly ask, how's that worked out for you? If you always crashing out, you constantly in trouble with the law, and now you can't get a good job, because you can't get a good job because you're always in trouble with the law, you struggling to live a equitable life or whatever, maybe you should itemize your life and where you at and say, all right, maybe, I probably need to change because it's not working out for me. Sometimes you just got to put it right back in their face. I'm not about to argue with you. You can argue with the life that you have set up for yourself, and you see it for you. Yeah. And now you got to ask yourself, is this worth changing? Or do I want to continue living down this path and continually push myself lower and lower?
Yeah. What you at? Yeah. Nah, I just pick it back off what Miles just said, because so you spoke to the person that said the reason why they doing it because they get pleasure out of, well, I'm just a crash out and that's just what it is. My dad was like this. Oh man,
that's the big hold on. That's what we that's the key. Them lived experiences, bro. I think that touch, that's really the one right
there.
now.
So you got, well, that's that well, we could go back to that one. But what I'm going to say is for the ones that say, okay, I'm dealing with this, and the reason why the reason why I seem like I'm making these decisions is because I don't know how to deal with that first. Well, now that's easier for that problem with that situation. Now you got to assess that situation to figure out what different avenues, scenarios that we could come up with to make that situation better, because now you're not going to be thinking you're not going to be thinking based off your feelings. Now I'm thinking with my emotions, like, okay, well, through my emotional intelligence, I realized that the more I continue to do this, or the more I continue to hang with this person, or whatever the case may be, this is the outcome. And I think that's basically what to the point that I was saying, these are going to be my outcomes. So now I have to use my emotional intelligence to understand that I can no longer do this. Now I have to try to find this way. I have to really plan that thing out, because that's what it really is. You're faced with something. You're faced with a problem. You don't know how to come up with a solution. So that's that side of it. But then now let's go back to the other side with that person, with that kid. It ain't even the kids nowadays, man, because the kids saying it because the parents saying it. My son act like that because his dad act like that. You gonna be a jailbird just like your dad. Like, what you're basically giving yourself an excuse. You give yourself an excuse not to think critically, because that's all when you emotional intelligence is really thinking critical about the situation. You want to be honest about it. A lot of the times, even when you deal with the kids, man, that's one of the things. Like, you got one of our boys, man, and you hear, man, my dad, one of my, like, what does that have to do with you? Yeah. What does that have to do with you in the way that you're gonna progress in life, and the way that you're gonna achieve certain things? Because the more that you allow yourself to use that as an excuse of saying you're not gonna do nothing, or you're not gonna be anything because your dad won in your life, then that's gonna continue to stunt your growth. And that's for anywhere. I'm talking about a kid, but think about the adults that's hanging on to this baggage about what happened in their life. You know what I'm saying? And to use it as a crutch, because I mean, to this day, I still use the fact that my biological dad not been in my life. That's not a crutch. I actually use that. That's motivation for me, because I never want to be like that, man. So I'm gonna make sure that I do everything that I have to do to continue to be better. And I constantly think critical thinking. Okay, well, in this moment, since he wasn't like this in my life, I just told Rory a story last night. And again, just based off emotional intelligence, we were just talking about the vivid picture that I remember when laying on the couch, and I'm laying on the couch at night by myself, and then in the morning I wake up and I feel a body behind me, and now it's this guy that wasn't there before. So I know, I understand what it is to have a father that's in and out, that's not really there. So now when we transition to talk to these boys, when they sit and give us these same excuses, saying because my dad wasn't there, but I sit and think about those type of things, those type of stories, and I'm able to tell you that you can endure and get over the same situation by thinking critically.
Biggest thing, you gotta sober them up. Emotions can be as addictive as alcohol, just to keep it within theme. You can get drunk on those emotions, and you have to sober a person up. Like, when you go out to a club and you drinking and you're having a good time, you ain't thinking about the hangover. You ain't thinking about how you gonna feel in the morning. You're not thinking about all that. But I guarantee you, if you're in the middle of a party and somebody be like, hey man, you about to struggle when you get up in the morning, have a headache, you're gonna vomit. I guarantee you're gonna be like, what am I doing this? You know what I mean? Or that you trying to prep before it hits, because you know that you put yourself in a situation that you're gonna have to follow through until it clears up. Same thing like when people they get caught in this cycle, always being angry and being like it's addicting. And so until you can get that person to look at themselves in the heat of the moment, like when you sitting there at your emotion and rage, right? It feels good to play into it because that's your emotion. Like, you getting loud, you yelling, everything else. But then if you make yourself in that moment, or find some way to snap yourself out of it in a quick moment, and just look at what you're doing, what you're saying, who you saying and doing it to, especially if it's a low one, I guarantee you're going to stop. Because you're going to like, last thing I want to do is hurt this person. Last thing I want to do is get myself so elevated till now I got a sore throat in the morning. I've been yelling. I got a headache and all this other stuff. It's draining. So when you put someone in the midst of that moment, it does sober them up. Because like, man, I don't want to sit there and be sitting shaking because I got so elevated, or I got a migraine, all these types of things. So you have to sit there and find some way, and people have to be real enough with themselves to basically build that voice, that catcher, that internal alarm clock or whatever, to be like, all right, your engine running too high, you better stop and look at how you talking and how you acting. So yeah, there's times where, even because I ain't perfect, there's times where I'm going up and I hit that limit, I'm like, nah, let me bring it back down. Like it's not worth it. It's just not. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and you feel it. That's
it's a feeling. It's a feeling. You feel, you don't feel yourself.
Yeah.
So like when I start to feel that, it's different thing. I know, like when I'm really mad, I feel it on the back of my neck first. Yeah. When I feel that heat starting to come on, I'm like, all right. I mean, because I know if I let it get to my head, and then it's gonna have to run its course, and then I'm sitting here with regret. I'm like, why did I let myself get there? And that's my first thought anytime. Why did I let myself?
Yeah.
I don't blame no one else. Why did I let myself get there?
Yeah. And I think we got to get more to a sense like that. And I think a lot of things is the power in the tongue. To your point, you kind of alluded to, and you did as well. So many people already prep for these situations. You get what I'm saying? If I lead out, if I'm feeling the way, if anybody say something to me, this is what it's going to be. Before you get to work, you know what I mean? You prepping yourself, kids, before they go to school. They better not look at me. They better not, like, we're prepping ourselves for these moments, so when they arise, we already ready to go there, because you don't told yourself so many times, because it's power in the tongue. If you think about the word emotional, so it's emotional, energy, emotion. You get what I'm saying? So your energy and emotion, what energy are you putting? Which way is you sending your energy? You get what to say, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Like, which way are you sending that? We can put so much negativity in. What are we watching? What are we listening to? All these different things got to do with our emotions and how we're reacting to everything. I guarantee you, if you listen to some positive vibes, some motivational music, you're reading positive books, you're saying, no weapon form against me can prosper. You're giving yourself all this energy. I promise you, nothing will come against you. I promise you won't have a bad day. I promise you won't just be out snapping on everybody, because the energy that you put in. So again, you got to think about that emotion. What energy are you putting into your day? And for everybody watching, I think they're going to. So it's coming to you. Who you talking to? You get what I'm saying? When you get into that emotion or that feeling that you're feeling, who you call it, and what type of conversation they had. That person trying to talk you off the ledge, or that person trying to pull up and help you. You know what I mean? Do whatever you're trying to do. And you got to be aware of, you know what I mean, that energy that you're putting around yourself. Because life is just energy. That's all it is. I think, what's the name said that we say money is energy, but all the things are energy. You get what I'm saying? The energy that we're putting into this life, into ourselves. Which way is it going? Is it going in a positive direction or a negative direction? And I think when we're having this conversation of emotions, I hope that this is a second for everybody to just pause. Like, okay, where am I at emotionally? You get, when it comes to my emotion, it tells you, do that my head get hot? Do my arms start sweating? What happens to me, so I can acknowledge that moment and I can't allow it to get the best of me? We got too many people waiting till it's too late. We got too many people reacting and then looking stupid after they done did something they're not supposed to, and wondering why this happened and why that's happening. If we can get in front of these things, if we could teach our kids to get in front of things, and we don't start there. Your kid can't do it if you can't do it. You can't expect for a child to be able to control their emotions if you can't control your own emotions. So for the adult watching this, we got to understand, how can we get it right? We can't have the people over here on Facebook going off, and even that kills me, because that's very low level emotional intelligence. If you're mad enough that you can type and still press send without erasing that, come on, bro. Like, you got to think about that. If you're a person out here that's going off on people on Facebook, social media period, recording yourself going on live, doing, like, you just at a whole level. We need to really sit down and be like, why am I allowing myself to do this? And because you got so many people watching. Again, that's another thing. You got kids watching this stuff. They see. It's a dude called Derek Grace. I watch his page, and he has a course, and it's like a self-defense course, but he shows how many people are out here just acting emotionally and basically telling people you can better prepare yourself. You never know what type of situation you're gonna be into. And if I would challenge y'all to go to his page and just see how many people are out here just living reckless, like just for something stupid, and they going to level 30. You know what I mean, off bat. So we got to be able to control that. I got something from Kobe. So Kobe said, "Be still. Things come and go. Emotions come and go. The important thing is to accept them all, embrace them all. Then you can choose to do with them what you want versus being controlled by them." So again, be still. Things come and go. Emotions come and go. The important thing is to accept them and embrace them all. Then you can choose to do with them what you want. versus being controlled by them. What do y'all hear when you hear Kobe Bean Bryant say that? What are y'all hearing when I read that to y'all?
Things gonna happen, and they're all you're gonna experience. You're gonna be mad, sad, you're gonna experience everything. Embrace it, and don't act on whatever. Don't act in that moment of how you feel, because at that moment, again, you can make a bad decision. So take a step back, and then after you calm down and you assess the situation, then whatever emotion you felt out of all those that I guess that will handle that situation the correct way, and that's the direction that you go. That's the emotion that you go with.
Yeah. What you heard, Brother Miles?
I'll liken it to back in the Old Testament with Moses. Moses out there in the wilderness with the children of Israel, listening to all their complaints, all their lack of being obedient, which further elongated the journey, the time that they supposed to be out there. He goes up to talk to God, comes down, they sitting here, they made idols of new gods, all these things that put them in captivity before. And now they out here still asking for more and more stuff. He was told to speak to the rock so that water can flow from it to give them, much needed hydration. But out of his anger, he struck the rock. Now, people will sit there and say, well, he got the results, but it's how you went about it. But see, you can do something that seems right, or you can do a right thing in the wrong spirit. So when you're sitting there and you're angry and everything else, even if you sitting there meaning well, even if you have the right intention, if you operate in that emotion, it can mess up your work. It can mess up with how you are executing, how you applying what it is that you're doing for others, or even yourself. So you have to keep that in mind, because your emotions can make that slight distortion to how you going about your work or how you doing something, and it can sit there and peel you off the path that you're supposed to be on. So when you're talking about being still and keeping those emotions in check when you're doing something, I liken that for a visual example of how, you can do something that helps somebody, or do something that in the grand scheme of things seem like you're doing it the right way. But because you didn't check that one emotion and the way that you went about it, it just distorts everything flowing from that point.
Yeah, I like it. And I heard just managing your emotions. So again, when he says that, if you think about the ability to being able to flip from hot to cold, or the same energy that goes to making the water hot, you know what I mean, to making it cold. It's just energy. How both ways, it's just which way you focus it. So I just hear really managing, thinking about if we could take all that negativity that a person has in their mind, or just their soul and their being, and manage it and push it to positive. You know what I mean? Let's put a little bit of this over here. You get what I'm saying? If everybody could just take a little bit of manage it and be able to put it in the same thing, even when we think about those angry emotions that a person may have, there's places that you can display that, save it. If you play sports, if you go to the gym, if you can find a place to put it. You just have to admit it. This ain't the right situation for that young man or young woman. Save that, and we're going to go to the gym, and we're going to get it in. And we're going to go to the boxing ring. You can put those, we're not telling you you can't have it. Like they were given to you for a reason. You know what I mean? We all have different emotions. It's just you have to manage when to use them. It's not telling you can't be mad. It's not telling you can't be sad. Yeah, you can be, but you have to manage all of that. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how many emotions is it. I don't know how many we got. We got, different managers. However many, you have to have the ability to be able to manage it and know when to use. And I think that's what we got to do. But great conversation, fellas. And as we're closing up, one thing I like to do, I know I never want to have a conversation where we're not being, giving solutions. We can talk about the problem. Again, we know everybody needs to have emotional intelligence. That's very important. So this is your takeaway as you're walking away. Emotional intelligence is vital. All right. We can't be walking around just acting crazy. We can't just be walking around just being emotional and not managing it. You can be mad, but you have to manage your abilities to when to get mad and when not to be mad, when to be happy. You know what I mean? All those different things. Just understand you have to manage your emotions, and it's okay to have them. Just manage them. All right. But I want to give a quick one little thing that y'all want to say that can help a person manage their emotions. Just a quick little solution tip. I'm gonna start with it. I'm gonna say power in the words. All right, that's my. Watch what you're feeding yourself. All right, power in the words. Watch the energy, what's coming out of what you're saying. All right, there's a lot of different times that things are happening that you're not understanding happen because you spoke that into existence. you said that in your conversation, what you was going to do and how you was going to do it if such and such happened. And now that it happened, and you go off what you've been feeding your brain on how you were going to respond. So many times we wire ourselves to act in a negative way, and then we get surprised when we act that way. So again, it's power in the words. Feed yourself positivity, what you're listening to, what you're reading, all those different things, what you're feeding yourself. So it's power in what you're taking in, and it's power what you're saying. So be aware your words that's coming out of your mouth. That's for me. How about yourself, Rose?
I would say, a small ego is hard to offend. It's only when you operating with your inner man being in situations or carrying weight that is not yours to carry, or for you to really put yourself in that type of volatile emotional level. Like I said before, sometimes it's not even worth carrying. Half the time, most of the time, it's really not worth carrying because it's not on you to begin with, or it is you, but then that should be at least somewhat of a relieved feeling, because now you know that if it is you, you can sit there and make the necessary tweaks to sit there and to basically cast that emotion off and to reconcile the situation. But again, you can only do that if your ego is in check. So again, small ego is hard to offend.
Yeah, and surround yourself with the right people, with positive people. A lot of the times it's the circle that you're around. It's your algorithm on Facebook. It's the things that you're putting inside your mind that a lot of times won't allow you to think in a critical manner to manage your emotions. So hey, just surround yourself with the right people.
I like it. Team, man. Put yourself around a positive team. All right, so make sure you stop what you're doing right now. Like, subscribe, and comment. We appreciate y'all for tapping into this episode, man. Emotional intelligence. Even go further than this, all right? You know what I mean? We gave some advice, we gave some tips, but go even further than this and go Google, put emotional intelligence in Google and see what comes up. Learn more, man. Life is a journey. Again, a lot of these two gentlemen, you heard that growth. You know, one thing that happened that they were able to grow out of the behaviors that they may have displayed early on is just through growth, through learning, through being educated, through experiences. The same thing, man. Don't be afraid to go just learn, just grow. So put emotional intelligence in that Google search and that YouTube search and just learn more how you can be able to control your emotions, man. So definitely make sure you stop right now, like, subscribe, and comment. Other than that, casino night, April 12th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. We'll have our casino night. We'll be dropping the location soon. We'll be giving out raffle prizes. We'll have a sponsorship opportunities for you as well if you want to sponsor that event. But again, come out for a great night for a great cause as well. But other than that, fellas, y'all got anything else before we spin it off? Y'all good? All right, man, make sure you're going out there taking care of yourself, taking care of your mental health, taking care of your family, taking care of your community, and taking care of your emotional intelligence. All right, we'll see y'all next time.